What's up guys, it's Meg. Welcome back to Meg After Dark. Today we are discussing the latest episode of The Walking Dead, that crazy episode that happened earlier this week. Season 8, episode 4, Just Some Guy. What did you guys think of the episode? I loved it so much. The acting was brilliant. The episode started out with Ezekiel kind of behind the scenes. He's dressed down, he's not in his costume. He is just some guy, and I love that that was how they started this episode. We really got a behind the scenes look at who he is when he is not King Ezekiel. And it was just a brief glimpse, but I loved kind of that act of he's waking up, he doesn't look like the king, he's dressed down, you know, he's not got on his robes, and he doesn't have his staff, and he doesn't have his hair done, you know, he doesn't have the feather in it. He's not really King Ezekiel, and they really kind of show you that he's just a normal everyday guy here. And he's even spoken to Carol in the past, I believe, about kind of the theatrics behind King Ezekiel and why he does it. So I liked that we kind of got that brief glimpse of him before he goes out. And I loved how he goes out and he gives this beautiful speech to his people, and he's rallying the troops, and they all come in and they surround him and they hug him, and it's very emotional. I also like that Carol was kind of off on the side because she knew the reality of this whole situation. And but they come in and they surround him, and that aerial shot of him being surrounded by his people in this loving way, and they love him and they respect him and they know that what he's doing is right, you know, and there's just this great feeling behind it. And then the scene immediately flips to the reality of what has happened, and that he is there still surrounded, but he is now surrounded by his dead followers, people who loved him and followed him, and he brought them here and they died saving him, and the horror of it. And that moment when he kind of reaches his way out from under the pile of his dead friends and these people that he cared about, and he kind of he just cries out as he's digging his way out. It was just a crazy emotional moment for both me and for Ezekiel. And I loved it. I loved how it was shot. Everything was so beautifully shot there. We really see him at his very worst here. He is injured. He is emotionally devastated at what he thinks he has done to all of these people, that he brought them here. And it's just awful. It's so awful in that moment. And moving along, he gets captured by the Savior, who continues to kind of pick at him and let him know just how awful he is, that he brought all of his people here to die. He led them to his deaths. And as much as we as viewers are like, fuck you, dude, you don't know what you're talking about, go away, we realize that Ezekiel is, you know, in this defeated moment, he is already feeling just completely awful, completely like the worst you can feel about leading your friends to their deaths. And then you have the Savior like nitpicking at you and telling you just how bad you really are. And those words got to him. You know they did. There's no way that they couldn't have gotten to him. And I just think the words by the Savior, it just breaks him even more. You know, he never expected to be leading his people to their deaths. Otherwise, he never would have done this, I don't think. I honestly think that despite the theatrics of his speech, I honestly think that in that moment, he felt like we might lose one or two people here, but that we are gonna come out ahead of this and we're gonna win this. And I don't think ever in his wildest dreams did he expect to lose everyone. So it's just seeing him at his weakest, most saddest, is that proper grammar, point in his life. It was very awful for us as viewers to like watch it unfold. And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, I mean, you brought all these people into battle and they all died, except Jerry, but they all died. And then your tiger, Shiva, like, she's probably like his closest family member. Like, it's like, she is his person, he is her person. Like, you know, it's just this beautiful relationship that they have, that people would never have with a wild animal, and somehow they formed this this relationship and this bond, and she's trying, I'm gonna cry because she's trying to get back to him. They're separated the entire episode, and she's trying to get back to him, and I don't think in that moment she's intending to save him or anything. She's come upon them. She's tracked him down. She's come upon him and inevitably ends up saving his life, saving Carol's life, saving Jerry's life, while giving her own unintentionally. But she gave her own life to save him, and that look on Ezekiel's face as she was dying, I mean, it was just the worst. And I hate it when they kill animals in here in this show, because it makes me way more sad, being an animal lover myself, I think, than a lot of the characters dying. But it just broke my heart. It was so upsetting to see, not only to see how upset he was, but to see like this tiger, to see Shiva die on screen like that. Now, comic readers like me, this happened in the comics. We know, I was expecting it. I honestly was like, it's probably gonna happen this episode. I thought it was gonna happen last episode. When it didn't, I was like sure that it was gonna happen this, but it still was so devastating to see that scene brought to life on the television screen. Broke my heart. Brilliant acting on everybody's part, but especially Carrie's part. It was just amazing acting to be able to portray that level of emotion and sadness where it looks real. Like, you would think that his real life tiger just really died in front of him. And to be able to have such great actors that make us feel like we are sucked in completely to a show is just amazing. It's why I love this show, and I say that all the time, but really the acting is just, it's above and beyond. And same for Melissa and Cooper. They were brilliant in this episode. Probably my only one complaint in this episode, doesn't even have to do with acting, is the fact that they killed off all of my other favorite background kingdom people, like the Daniel and the I can't think of his name, but the dude who saved Ezekiel the first time before he died. Like, all of those people that I love seeing them in the background, and I was always hoping for them to have bigger roles, and it just made me really sad that they literally killed off all of them. I was like, can't we have one survive besides Jerry? I love Jerry. Nothing wrong with Jerry. I would just like maybe one more to survive. We gotta talk about Carol. Carol was a badass as well. She always is. She never ceases to amaze me. She is so smart and such a survivor, and she's always like outsmarting the saviors and outsmarting these people who are out trying to kill her and outsmarting walkers, and she's just like brilliant. I love Carol. So glad that everything worked out for her. Every episode, literally every episode, I think to myself, Daryl and Carol are these like wild cards kind of, and you just don't know when they're gonna go, and it scares me like every time I watch an episode. I'm like, these are my two of my favorites. I have other favorites, but these are my two favorites that I feel like are such wild cards. I never know if I'm gonna go into an episode and lose one of them unexpectedly. It's very scary. And then obviously Rick and Daryl's chase scene, I loved it. It felt like I was watching a movie. I thought it was so well done. The only thing was that the gun scene shooting from the back of the Jeep, I felt like it should have been doing way more damage to Rick's Jeep, but I could be wrong. I also saw some comments that a lot of you were saying that as well, that, I mean, it literally blew apart these people, and obviously flesh is different than a car, but you would have thought it would have done a little more damage to the front of the Jeep. But I loved seeing Rick jump into the savior's car, and it was awesome. I loved it. They got the guns, they have a win, and obviously the last thing I want to talk about is Jerry saving Ezekiel. I mean, that was brilliant. I think that was one of the best human kills that I've seen in a really long time here. Human kill, not walker kill. I just thought that was so awesome, especially because we hated this guy. I think I said in my reaction video, I hated this. I've never hated a savior more than I hated that dude in that moment. I was like, he needs to die in a horrible way. And sure enough, Jerry just chucked him right in half. That was like a scene from Saw or something. It was awesome. I loved it. It was, all in all, a great episode. It just makes me so much more excited for the episodes to come, leading up to the mid-season finale. I'm so excited. I love the show so much. Be sure to let me know what your favorite part was in the comments. How did you feel about Shiva? I saw a lot of your comments on my reaction video about Shiva, and it was devastating. You are right. we all cried over a CGI tiger. I mean, if you didn't have any emotion over that, I really want to know what's wrong with you. You're probably watching the wrong show. Like, people had to have had some sort of emotion over losing Shiva. It was awful. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next Sunday with my latest reaction video for The Walking Dead and then my review afterwards. I hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon. Take care. Bye.